Today we'll be looking at Windows Magnifier in the Windows 11 accessibility features. We can turn on the magnifier by using Windows key and plus. What that'll do then is turn on the magnifier up here as such. We can also just turn it on through the accessibility settings into the magnifier window here. What we're going to do is we're going to go into these settings, or we can go up to here, go to settings, and it'll take us to exactly the same section of the screen. So what I can either do is press Windows key and plus, and that's now going to zoom in and zoom back out. What we've got here in the next section is a zoom increment. Now I can change that into 50s, so here now that should go 150, 200. I quite like to set it about 10%. That gives us then the flexibility of zooming in just that little bit at a time. And we've got full screen here. This will allow us to track our mouse pointer, track which is just moving around the screen. This will allow us to also have our keyboard focus and our text cursor. Now, what is that? So the text cursor will be where I'm actually clicked within the document. So if I clicked down here, you can see that it automatically will track where we go. So if I move up the document, you can see that automatically it is moving around with us in that zoom window as such. Now with the when we start to write now, you can see that it automatically shifts across. Now that's quite good because it means that you can still track and see what you're writing on the screen as such. Now let's go back to these settings up here and go back to go to settings. Now also we've got a fit screen, and that'll just take us back to 100% mode. Or we can press Control Alt minus, and that'll put us back into the zoom mode. So if we push that again, Control Alt minus, you can see that it's going between the magnified window and the zoom window as such. What we're going to now do is we're going to have a look at the other modes on here. So we've got a lens mode. Now lens will allow us just to zoom into a particular section of the screen. So what we can do is we can change that lens layout to make it bigger or smaller on the screen. So if I extend this out and down, we've now got a narrower window, so you can see that it's not taking up so much of the screen on there. But we've also got up here a docked mode. So docked will allow us to have it in a fixed window. So you can see that as I move the mouse around now, that it's just zooming in this section at the top. Now you can drag it down, and we can have that unfixed there. So it's not now fixed at the top of the screen, and we can move that around as such. But we can drop it quickly at the top. We can see that as we go down on there as such. What we've also got on this is we've got a invert colours. So that will now invert the background colour to black. That makes it a lot easier for visually impaired people to see the text. But we can also do that on full screen mode. And we can also do that on just the lens mode here. So this lens now is still inverted as such. So what we can also do is smooth the edges of the text. I would say have this off. I'll show you the difference between it. You can kind of see that there's a shadow on that. So if we take that back off, you can see that it's a lot cleaner text. So we've got these reading shortcuts here. So we've got Control Alt. Now this will allow us to read in any one of these documents. So if I Control Alt and mouse click,
generate a summary for this document. This is a test to make
you can see that that's automatically now reading from that point. And we've got keyboard shortcuts on there as well. So if I wanted to press Control Alt and Enter,
show the formatting, apply a professional report format
that
to this
will
document.
start
Add a table
reading
of contents based on
from wherever the text cursor is. Now also we can go back a line, so Control Alt and H.
Convert this data into a table, review and proofread. Convert this data.
So you can see now that's skipping up a line at a time as such. And we can go K, which will skip us to the next line. We can also just press this mouse button here, this read from here. And this is quite good for when you can't put a text cursor anywhere. So, e.g. in here I can't click anywhere here, but I could still read this.
Invert colors.
Anywhere. Then got a settings, which will allow us to change the voice. So I quite like Susan, but you've got Hazel and George, and you've also got a speed control up in the top there. To exit out of Windows Magnifier, we're literally going to push Windows key or escape, and then that will close the window down. Or we can just push this one here on the close.